Bailin Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. The date is January 20th, 2016. You've seen tremendous market turmoil since the beginning of the year. Today is no different. Dow at one point was down well over 500 points. Gold up over 20. Things have settled down a little bit, but still, since the first of the year, these markets around the world have been moving as one, ever downward. And I'm sure you're familiar with David Morgan, themorganreport.com, silver expert, somebody I look up to immensely. David, you've done so much, and your wealth of knowledge, you're a veritable storehouse of precious metals knowledge. And I use that term you coined a while ago, the Johnson slug, to describe post-1964 coinage. I think it's very appropriate. And hey, glad to have you on, and congratulations on the new book, the Silver Manifesto.
Well, thank you, Kerry. I appreciate the introduction.
Hey, so what the heck is going on here? I mean, things are really out of control. It's got you wondering whether central banks can really control reality indefinitely into the future, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I think, we opened up the year with a great deal of uncertainty, and the equity markets are reflecting that. China's, unwinding. They devalued purposefully, last year. Actually did it in 3 different stages, very minor on a percentage basis, but nonetheless, their stock markets are in trouble, and they put in some rather draconian rules for a while to try to stabilize things and not let the free market work as it could. And now we're in a new year, and you see, gold's gaining a little bit of strength. It looks like it's starting to become more of a safe haven status, which it's held for so long, but certainly we've been in a bear market within the last 4 years or so. So I think everyone is very, very cautious right now and kind of waiting to see what is going to take place next. And of course, with oil under $30 a barrel, this is, of course, the driver for so much of the world economy, because everything depends on energy. And when we're talking energy, we're basically talking the oils as the commodity. And now with this surplus of oil and Iran coming into the picture more because of the sanctions being lifted and them being able to export more oil, it even adds more downward pressure. So everything is in what I would call a nervous status right now, and no one is certain, where to go with their money or where to save it or where to place it.
And when you talk about oil, it's down below $27 the barrel now, David. I mean, it was just a short time ago, it was over 100, and way back when it hit 140 plus, and here we are. They can't give this stuff away. Oil tankers are like Voyage of the Damned. They go from port to port trying to dump their cargo, and nobody wants the stuff. I mean, what is going on here? How can this be? I know the sanctions have ended, but it seems like it's more indicative of some type of really collapsing demand that's taking place that has finally caught up, even though, there might be slightly more than 1 billion barrels of oil in inventories around the world, not including emergency inventories countries like the U.S. and China keep. 1.2 billion barrels, not really that much. It's 12, 13 days of world consumption.
Well said. And I'd like to add on to that. Art Berman, who's probably, in my view, one of the best oil analysts out there, did an interview with Chris Martenson recently, and he described, I think it was 1 million or 1.5 million barrels excess per day is at the margin. And, in a free market, all markets price is determined at the margin. It's the last bidder that gets the, whatever the good or service is. And that is not a big oversupply. I mean, the price is reflecting something that most people think is a huge glut or a huge surplus, but the surplus really, 1.5 million barrels, is not that large a supply oversupply. So things could turn, not that they will imminently, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's not as big a glut as I think most people believe, and that oil is still crucial to the global economy. And with things slowing down more and more and oil continuing to go, it's 27, as you said, as we're doing the interview, this is great concern to, excuse the expression, what's really going on, because the markets, again, are in turmoil. So there's really a lot of uncertainty, and it continues to grow. And I think 2016 could be what I thought 2015 would be, which is what I called a watershed year, because more and more people that are outside of, let's say, our group of looking at things from a non-tainted lens of the reality of the situation on a debt-based financial system on a global basis. I think more and more people are going to start to question, if these bankers, if the monetary authorities, if governments at all really are in charge and or know what they're doing.
So interesting. Not looking at much increase really in the supply of oil. Getting back to that for a sec. When you look at it, 12, 13 years ago, world appetite, world demand for crude oil was at 80 million barrels a day. And if you remember, David, everyone said that's peak oil. Just can't produce more than that. Now we are at 95 million barrels a day world consumption. And it's, there's too much of this stuff. We just can't deal with it. So public perception is off on this topic. And like you said, markets not functioning properly. I think perhaps, if you remember, Dodd-Frank basically drove the big commercial banks, the big banks, the too big to fails, out of proprietary trading in commodities. And this could be part of it, right?
Oh, exactly. And, speaking of the Dodd-Frank, I think one of the things I need to do on no matter what show I'm doing, and thank you for having me on yours, is to remind people that the new financial legislation that's taken place requires no more bailouts and only bail-ins. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm speaking fact, not opinion. And the fact is, if there is another financial crisis subsequent to the 2008 crisis, which in my view we've never really recovered from, the possibility is strong that there will be bail-ins. And exactly how they'll do it, no one really knows. But I would hate to think anyone out in the listening audience that listens to Financial Survival Network doesn't realize or at least take some action that the bail-in situation is a real possibility and act appropriately.
Well, I'm in the process. I've been writing this article, David, for 6 months, and you have just spurred me on to complete it. Basically, the title is The Modern Bank Run, or The Bank Run in Modern America is Obsolete. Can't happen because it's a simple matter. The banks don't have any cash. If you remember the Great Depression, studying it, I know you're a student of history, an astute one. People lined up to get cash out of the bank. They didn't want checks from banks. Now there's no cash. Nobody carries cash. 20% of people have $0 in their pocket. 40% have 20 or less. And how are you going to have a bank run if nobody can get cash, which means you're going to be limited on your ATM withdrawals to X amount. And if you go there, they say, yeah, we'll give you your money. Here is a bank check, bank's word, and go find another place to put it. And, it's absurd to think that there's, it's just not going to happen. We've seen the model in Cyprus. We've seen it in other countries. There will be limitations on withdrawals, and there will be a lot of people running for the exits, but there won't be any exits, or I should say there won't be any entrances. Don't think about lining up around too big to fail national bank to pull your money out. You can't do it.
Right, exactly. I mean, and even if you try, you go to your local banker and say, you want to withdraw $5,000 in cash, they may have it, but they put you through the third degree. They want your thumbprint. They want a picture of you. They ask you what it's for. I mean, I'm just backing you up, Kerry. There's just no way you can actually get fair amount of cash out of a bank these days. And this is part of the control mechanism, in my view. Is basically they consider it to be their money. At law, that's true. And that's why they could bail in, take your money and say it's theirs. You're just a creditor to the bank as far as they're concerned. So these are real threats that people are really not aware of.
Yeah. Oh, you're so right. You're not aware of it. And the bail-in always existed for big depositors, over the maximum amount of the FDIC sticker. And that FDIC guarantee only works when there's a few banks going under. Doesn't work when the whole system's imploding. And I think honestly that the thought of bank runs, that's not where it's at here. I think the bail-ins where it's at, and how do you protect yourself from it? And probably precious metals is about the only way that you can really pull it off now. I don't see any other way. Do you?
Well, not really. I mean, there's obviously, the right stocks or, real estate or any hard asset. You have a pile of good lumber or, that type of thing. I mean, I just finished the book Prosper, and written by Chris Martenson and Adam Taggart, and they talk about the 8 forms of capital. So there are other ways, but I agree, Kerry, for most people, the best way to go is probably physical gold and silver. Yes, there are other ways. And most people listening to your show absolutely know of other ways. But for most people, it's the most succinct, easiest, and probably best from the aspect that, gold is recognized anywhere in the world, silver as well. It transcends all borders. It's been money for thousands of years. It's easily, transferred. Whereas if you have, let's say, a hard asset such as, I'll use my plywood or lumber example, pretty hard to transport, pretty hard. You got to put someone that wants that in trade or whatever. Whereas, gold and silver are universal money. So certainly from a practical perspective, I think it's the best.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we have to go back and look at the safe deposit box safety issue, because I'm sure a lot of you have gotten complacent. We've got a special report there on where to basically put your precious metals so that you can get them not being in the banking system. We already saw Chase get rid of safe deposit box holders who were holding bullion, and I know a number of people closed out their boxes. So anyway, hey, the book, David, tell us about it. I know it was a long time in coming.
Yeah, we'll be happy to. It took 9 months, several rewrites before we finally got it perfected. If you're interested in the book, go to thesilvermanifesto.com. It's one URL, thesilvermanifesto.com. It's available on Amazon. Easy. You can just go to Amazon and buy it. If you're in Canada, you need to go to the site, thesilvermanifesto.com, and make arrangements, and we will personally mail you the book. So, Kerry, it's been great, and I want to commend you for your insights teaching people about what's coming in their future financially, and also some of your well thought out methodologies. For example, how to store cash in Las Vegas. I thought that was a fantastic insight that no one else to my knowledge knew of. So thank you. I appreciate it being on your show, and I look forward to the next time. All
right. Hey, so themorganreport.com, and you'll always find a link in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. David, great luck on the book. And we'll talk with you again real soon.
Very good. Bye for now.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.